God bless you. Welcome. So I'm in between here in my car at the moment, and I have unloaded my car because it's getting a good cleaning. And I've come through stuff in the papers that I have held on to, and I was that deal with homelessness. So I was just going to go through a few of them. One is a poem out of Venice from the beachhead from a homeless man. He appears to be homeless. So it's Hello from Venice, as sung to Adele's Hello by Marty Liboff. Hello, it's me. I'm homeless on Venice Beach, sleeping in shit and piss. Hello, can you hear me? I'm in California dreaming about who we used to be when we were younger and free. I've forgotten how it felt before when I had home and money. So hello from the other side. I felt like I died 1,000 times. I'm sorry for everything I've done, but the cops treat me like I am scum. Hello from the outside. At least I can say I tried, but America doesn't give an F about the poor. It clearly doesn't tear them apart anymore. Hello, how are you? I'm starving and cold on Venice Beach. There's no jobs and homes are $6 million. Yuppies step over the sick and dying and laugh, while a man hollers, hello, all the city funds go to jails, cops, courts, politicians, and pensions. The poor and sick, they don't care, and the rich only care about their mansions. Hello from the outside. At least I can say I tried. But America doesn't give an F about the poor. It clearly doesn't tear them apart anymore. And, this one was in a magazine. It's actually from Arkansas. I've been there like once in my life. But yeah, this one advertisement is for a mission who helps the homeless. And then when you're reading it, their statement and like what they do, it's really only for women who are beaten with children and men who are drug addicts and drunks. And this is what I find throughout America. And I have been dealing with this for 7 years. And this is really just typical of what I find. It's you have to be an addict. And if you're a woman, you better have children, because if you don't, you are as good as dead. And I've heard that from other women who are childless. Like, it's pointless to reach out for help. It just really is. And it's really sad. And we're not allowed to have pets, which is really sad. It's like, you don't hold the men or women accountable for having kids, so why are you punishing me? Like, I've already lost so much, I have to lose my pet too. Like, you don't take away their children. You keep giving them more and more money. And don't spare me the BS of just my one grandfather worked in Chicago at the projects, which they tore down, which is now has set off this massive murder war in Chicago. He used to work in those buildings. They have kids to get more money. They're money machines. Or they're money makers. These kids are. And if you're not, and this is my problem, because I am sober and I don't have kids, and there really is, and I'm white. This America is built off of white people's money, and all the help goes for non-whites. And I'm sorry, but if we're supposed to be a colorless society and race doesn't matter, then why on every form does it ask you to check what you are? And why is everything, Afro-American, Euro-American, or they should have Euro-American, Asian-American. They never have Euro. It's always just white. You know what? Whites have a culture. We have a background. And you know what? While the majority of us hold up this nation and nations around the world, which is not our responsibility, sometimes some of us need help. And when you get in the white community, at least from what I've experienced, it's taboo to need help. It's well, I pay taxes, go to the government. They do not want anything to do with you. And I've even last year, I reached out to my godparents, and who are both I mean, the one is, he's very wealthy. And I was just asked for a little help. And neither one of my godparents even acknowledged my letter to him. It's a pistol because I didn't make bad decisions. I didn't get tripped up. I got extremely ill at a young age before I could get my feet financially on the ground. And I'm not going to get better. In all likelihood, I will not get better. And it's just sad because when you really do need help, and if you're white and childless, if you're a praying type, pray for me, because the only thing that's possible is a miracle. It really is. Let's see. This was in the Argonaut, and it's from HGFNBB, and they were responding to the article Homeless in the Heart of Screenland. And this individual says, we have a close friend who got a 60-day notice to quit along with all his neighbors in a building of 30 or so apartments. I don't remember what he said, since we were focusing on what he's going to do after 16 years of living there and paying his rent on time every month and never having any issues. What did Culver City do about that? And when he called them, they said that they did not have rent control or anything else that would prohibit an owner from evicting all his tenants. People don't fall into homelessness. They are pushed. And they are not the homeless. They are people without a house. Referring to them as the homeless was a noun rather than an adjective is ridiculous. They are people. And the one before that was griping about expanded rent control. And the rent is completely off the charts. I mean, two of the guys I know, they did have housing, but they're like, this is ridiculous. It's $1,000 a month and I'm sharing a room. That's I find part of the problem is all the Airbnb. They weren't part of the Airbnb, but you know, people do come in and they like sort of like this hotel, non-hotel thing. And you have these single units, housing units for a single family, and it's just being filled to the gills with people. And then they want to say the streets are too crowded because of all the homeless. It's like, well, if you didn't keep jacking up prices, there wouldn't be as many people on the streets. And if you kept single unit housing to single family units, there wouldn't be as many issues either. And this one, affordable housing, I did like this. This is sort of older. I know they're having a fit during elections. They have underutilized public land, and Mike Bono wanted to put housing on it, and it was in Venice, which would be awesome because there's a lot of people who are, you know, homeless, and they're like, hell no, I'm not moving into the valley or the desert. That's just plain right inhumane. And there's something about being on the coast. And some people, we need that water and that air. And if we're not hurting you. And that brings me to the last thing, which is I find really alarming, is the renaming. Silicon Beach. It is not Silicon Beach. It's the West Side. And if you're in certain towns, but it's the West Side. It's not Silicon Beach. I find techies highly alarming on all fronts. On the entire coast. Doesn't matter if you're in LA, San Francisco, or go further on up. I just find they're so intolerant. They are constantly pushing diversity, and yet every time they have a chance to embrace it, whether it's online or in the physical realm, they don't. I mean, online they're shutting lots of people down because they're hate speech. Because if I disagree with you, that's not hate speech. That's a different opinion. And having and accepting facts, stating facts, and promoting the knowledge of facts is not hate. And it just alarms me, anyone who cannot handle free speech, because if your stance is so weak that you can't handle someone disagreeing with you, you're a fascist and you have nothing to stand on. You're a control freaks filled with hatred, and that's not okay. I find it really alarming. On the internet, we're being shoved with diversity, and at the same time, free speech isn't being allowed anymore. And these people who are pushing diversity so much, their houses are just surrounded with fences and 24 armed security guards. In LA, even churches have armed guard response. It's like, really? I know the blood of Christ is precious, but do you really need an armed guard? Bad joke. So, anywho, but it's just really alarming. And it's alarming, especially, well, I just know Kelly better than any other place, but what the things they're doing in San Francisco alarming. What I'm seeing in Venice and LA is highly alarming. They're literally coming into Venice. They have bought multiple buildings, have driven everyone out, and they have a whole list of more buildings they want to buy out. Like, this is public. This is a public town. If you want a cult, go someplace else, and go buy one of the ranches on the ocean if that's what you want. Or go in the desert and buy up a ton of land and have your freaky cult. But don't come into a public place that is diverse and lively as Venice, and really anywhere. Don't come in and run the locals out and demean the people who are there. It's not okay. Your homeless phobia is not okay. Your intolerance to the homeless and non-techies are not okay. Your hatred and discrimination is not okay. The lies and hatred you hurl at us to our face and behind our back in the news media is not okay. I really encourage you, if you are one of them, to seek help on why you have so much hatred and so much intolerance, why everyone has to be exactly like you, and if they're not, they must be banned and outlawed. My existence is literally outlawed and becomes outlawed more and more each day. And that's not okay. So, anywho, I hope you all are doing good. And just accept. It's so much easier to accept the homeless. It's just, and this lifestyle isn't for everyone. And that's okay. And I'm not asking you to be homeless. And if certain people want to go and live in the subsidized housing, well, put some money off aside to that, but don't expect everyone to live like that. There needs to be some acceptance and tolerance for people who live a little different. I'm not harming you. The homeless aren't going around, gang raping women in public. We're not going around killing. We're not commanded to kill you. So why you're so scared of us and not other groups is really mind-boggling. And at the end of the day, I am a citizen.